those people who fought back then was Dr. Carol Adams, who is joining us on the phone now. Dr. Adams, thanks for spending some time with us. I remember speaking to you years ago, and you were telling us about your time with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Were you working tightly with Representative Lewis, or was he a little bit before you? I can't remember that part.
He was a little before me, and what we had in common was not SNCC, it was CORE. I became involved in CORE as a teenager at 16 years old.
Okay, yeah.
And so we had that in common because it was through CORE that he did the Freedom Rides. I was still in high school then. I followed he and Diane Nash at Fisk. They had blazed a trail there.
Yeah.
And I was in the class following, and they really energized just generations of Fiskites to continue in that tradition. So I got involved again in the civil rights movement there. So we had that. We had Fisk University in common because he was a student of Fisk and one of our sons and daughters that stayed on the altar. And we had Reverend C.T. Vivian in common, who was the person that got me re-involved in civil rights in Nashville.
And what a lot of people don't really understand about student organizing is there was a lot of organizing involved. It wasn't just one day you got up and you picked up, signs and you went out and protest. You had to understand how to do it, how to go about it, and how to be effective in getting your message out there.
Well, you had to train. There was training that you had to submit to. You had to agree to conduct yourself in a particular way. There was a philosophy behind this, and they didn't want people going out just acting any kind of way. If you couldn't commit to that, then you weren't to get involved. It's just like Congressman Lewis said at one time. They said to him on the bus, if you're not willing to die, don't get on this bus. And he showed us time and time again that he was willing to put his life on the line for all of us because he suffered so much brutality. Some of us who were involved in the civil rights movement were arrested, but we never had the kind of brutal beating and the things that Congressman Lewis endured.
I remember hearing an interview with Diane Nash, and she said every time that she would come to a meeting, John would always have bandages. On his head from some type of altercation he had been involved in.
Yeah, because he put his life on the line. Yeah. And they were determined to diminish his spirit all the way to the ultimate. I mean, there are people who did literally die, which is why these 55 years later, we have to honor their legacy through our own actions, not through just watching TV. But what do we do because we knew him and because we experienced him?
Dr. Adams, it's interesting to note with John Lewis, he's a special kind of guy because not only did he have to endure those beatings and brutality in his younger life, but then he spent decades in Washington, which I've been there, and it's a place where you can get you can get pretty cynical very quickly if you spend too much time in Washington, D.C. But he always maintained that optimistic view of the world.
Well, he had this moral center, this spiritual part about him that you would feel if you were in his presence. And it's no accident that they called him the moral conscience in an environment that is often rife with corruption and what have you. His moral compass was strong. He was a humble man. He loved everyone. He understood that love was what would conquer hate. He believed this to the very core of his being, and he radiated that through his actions and through his words.
What are your thoughts on part of his legacy, this 6-day basically goodbye tribute that's going through, that he makes this final crossing of the Edmund Pettus Bridge?
Well, I always think about him as a bridge over troubled water. And water and crossing is such a metaphor for us moving to the other side. And we said, even in our spirituals, we want to get to the other side. Many rivers to cross. All of those metaphors that talk about movement, moving forward, and getting over one thing into something else. And so I think it is the symbolism of this one last crossing is so significant. His second book, Cross the Bridge, he's again crossing that, and he's taking us with him.
What's interesting is to see the protests that have happened over the last almost 2 months now across the country, and to see these faces. They are young faces. Their parents weren't even born the first time that John Lewis crossed the Pettus Bridge in Selma in 1965. What can these young activists learn and take from what generations prior, including John Lewis's, have done and set the foundation for?
They will learn from him that this is a long run, that it is a struggle, that is a distance run, not a sprint, and that you have to stay engaged and stay involved and not think that small wins mean you have really won the fight and the struggle for freedom. We are still very much engaged in it, and then some of the things he fought for all of those years ago, we are still fighting for them today.
Did you think that we became complacent? Is that why this fight continues, 55 years later?
I think the fight takes different forms, and we have to keep reinventing how we're going to fight it. You know, I believe that, yes, some people may have thought we won, but in the main, the real activist community has remained engaged. The fight just changes, and we have to recalibrate. So I'm excited about what young people are doing now. I'm excited about the energy, the re-energization or energization of the movement, if you will, that has people once again realizing that we have to do this. And I think we can celebrate John Lewis in 100 days by going to the polls, because he took many a beating trying to get us that right to vote.
When we're talking about that right to vote, it's hard to believe that it was just 55 years ago that you had to say in a law that American citizens had the right to vote, and we take that that now as something that we just have. But what do we take from here now? We have it now codified in law, but it almost seems like this is a fight now for the hearts of Americans.
And also, we have to fight against voter suppression, because there are many states now where you're seeing efforts to keep people from voting. We have folks, even now in the time of COVID, actively campaigning against being able to vote absentee, including our current president. We've got places where they're coming up with all kinds of means tests and things you have to do. It's almost like going back to how many jelly beans are in a jar and all the idiotic things they used to ask Black people in the South around voting. So now we have to fight to maintain our rights. Everything we've got to fight to keep. And everything we don't have, we have to fight to get.
And as John Lewis would say, do it by getting into good trouble.
That's right.
Getting into
That's
good
right.
trouble.
Recognize that legacy is a verb in this situation.
Oh, wow.
What will be going through your mind, Doctor, as you see this final crossing of John Lewis?
Yeah. I think the thing that first touches my heart is I say, I should have gone there. It makes you want to be there. It makes you want to be a part of it. To just action again, to activate your feelings about the significance of this man, the importance of his work. He would be very humble about 6 and 7 days worth of recognition, because no matter what and no matter how much people praised him, he was always a very humble human being.
Well, Dr. Carol Adams, we appreciate you joining us this morning and sharing your thoughts and observations.
It's an honor.
And we wish you much health and safety, and be blessed this morning, okay?
Thank you so much. It's an honor to talk about Congressman Lewis.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.